Hi, Jeff Marsocci, estate planning attorney and certified Medicaid planner. It's almost Thanksgiving. This is actually one of the biggest times of the year when families that are separated by distance come together and catch up and see how everybody's been doing. It's just one of these kind of focal points where family gets together. Unfortunately, this also ends up being a time when a lot of the kids of my clients may start noticing that things aren't quite right with their parents, and they're concerned that it might be the very beginning stages of dementia or Alzheimer's. And we end up getting a lot of calls after Thanksgiving, or even more particularly after the Christmas holidays into early January about this. So here are some things to look for and realize that maybe it's time to get some information or start a discussion. All right, so 5 big things. First, overstocking or understocking on things. One story that I remember hearing very well, there was 5-pound bags of potatoes on a woman's shopping list, and every time she went to the store, a couple of times a week, she'd go, "Oh, that's right, I have potatoes on my shopping list." And she'd buy potatoes, excuse me, get home, and then realize she's already got 30 pounds of potatoes. But it never came off the list. She just kept saying, "Oh, that's right, I need potatoes." And she kept buying it to the point when the kids came over, they opened the pantry door and there was about 50 pounds of potatoes and they were falling out. So this is one of those warning signs that something might not quite be right. Another big thing, mail, bills. They're piled up high on a table and they're just ignored. And there are things that could have been there for months. And what's happening is the seniors might be getting a little confused, a little overwhelmed by the bills because they're not handling it the way they used to, and rather than look for help, they just push it aside because it's not comfortable, and then it starts to add up. So looking for big stacks of mail, particularly unopened mail or stuff that's just put to the side, might be a sign there may be some discussions that are needed. A third thing, and this is critical, it's fuzzy memory or not remembering short-term things. Look, that happens to everybody as they get a little bit older. But the other piece of that is sometimes there are these big bursts or explosions of clarity for things that have happened many years ago. That might be an indication that things aren't going too well with memory and it might be time to get checked out. All right. A fourth thing is just disorganization. Things not being where they used to be. I remember very particularly my grandmother, a couple of times she would put a clean frying pan in the freezer. Or there were leftovers that should have gone in the fridge. She put them in a closet. Things like that start happening, and it's just a sign that things aren't connecting too well, and it was time to get things checked out. And a fifth thing, routine tasks will seem confusing or frustrating. Again, my grandmother, when she went through this, making coffee with an automatic coffee maker, she just couldn't do it after a while. And the family laughed about it, but she got so frustrated with it, she just grabbed the coffee maker, opened the door, and just threw it out into the backyard. And then my grandfather comes back from the store and he finds it there and she's saying it's not working. It was working just fine. She just wasn't able to process that task the way she did before. So those are just 5 kind of warning signs to just take a look for. If you're visiting your parents and you start to see some of these things, it's not something you want to ignore. It's also not something that you want to just come full out and say there's a problem. but just be aware that this might be a need for a start of the conversation and potentially getting checked out medically. So again, just those 5 things. We hope you found that information useful. Hopefully none of that's happening in your family, but if it is, we've got information. If you can go to careassistancecenter.com/care packet. There's a lot of stuff on long-term care planning. The biggest thing on that, if you read through it, getting started early can help the family tremendously if there's a need. So again, we hope you have a great Thanksgiving and have a great day.